Good morning, my dear students. This is Neeraj Kumar, your English teacher. Today as well, I am here to continue chapter number 6, Weathering the Storm in Arsama. I hope you will be listening to me very carefully. So now let us continue. Eventually, Prashant reached his village, Kalikuda. His heart went cold. Where their home once stood, there were only remnants of its roof. Some of their belongings were caught, mangled, and twisted in the branches of the tree, just visible above the dark waters. Young Prashant decided to go to the Red Cross shelter to look for his family. So I just tell you what happens in this paragraph. Finally, Prashant reaches his village, Kalikuda, and after reaching there, his heart gets cold when he finds the remnants of its roof. Earlier there was house, but now he sees only remnants of its roof. Even some of his belongings caught and mangled and hanging in the branches of the tree. Finally, Prashant decided to go to the Red Cross shelter just to look for his family. Now let us move ahead. Among the first people he saw in the crowd was his maternal grandmother. Weak with hunger, she rushed to him, her hands outstretched, her eyes brimming. It was a miracle. They had long given him up for dead. So as soon as Prashant reaches there, so at the very first sight, at the very first place in the crowd, he sees his maternal grandmother, and she got weak because of hunger. So, having seen Prashant, she rushed towards him, even her hands outstretched. And there had been tears in her eyes. There was a miracle. Actually, all the family members thought of Prashant that he died because of that super cyclone. Now let us move ahead. Quickly, word spread, and his extended family gathered around him and hugged him tight in relief. Prashant anxiously scanned the motley, battered group, his brother and sister, his uncle and aunts. They all seemed to be there. So, very quickly, the word spread, right? And step by step, he kept on finding his all the family members. As soon as all the family members got close to him, and having seen Prashant, they became so much happy. Even one by one, they hugged him. Now, I hope you understand so far. Now, let us move ahead. Let's continue. By the next morning, as he took in the desperate situation in the shelter, he decided to get a grip over himself. He sensed a deathly grief settling upon to 2500 strong crowd in the shelter. Now the next morning he was quite restless and got disappointed as he found the devastation all around him. He finally decided to get a grip over himself. That means he uh, controlled himself, he subjugated himself. Very soon he came to know that in the crowd there had been 2500 strong 2500 people in the shelter. 86 lives were lost in the village, and there had been 86 lives who were lost in the village. All the 96 houses had been washed away. Just because of that super cyclone, 96 houses swept away by that super cyclone. It was their fourth day at the shelter. So far, they had survived on green coconuts, but there were too few to go around such a tumult of people. And how the people were surviving there completely depend on the green coconuts. But uh, there had been a less number of people in the group of Prashant, and victims were so high. Now let us move ahead. Prashant, all of 19 years, decided to step in as leader of his village. When nobody came forward, so finally Prashant decided to come ahead and took the responsibility being a leader. He decided to be a leader there, if no one else did, as there had not been anyone to come forward just for the victims. He organized a group of youth and elders to jointly uh, pressurize the merchant once again to part with rice. This time, the delegation succeeded and returned triumphantly, wading through the receding water with food for the entire shelter. So, after taking the responsibility, uh, Prashant created a group of youth and elders. They were all together, started putting efforts and reaching merchant, and somehow they arranged rice for the victims. And how did they arrange? They kept on moving, they kept on going ahead through the water, and it was so difficult to arrange rice that time. So finally, he arranged food for the entire shelter. No one cared that the rice was already rotting. There had been some problem with the rice, it was already rotten. Branches from fallen trees were gathered to light a reluctant and a slow fire. After that, Prashant and his team, they arranged dry wood just for the fire on which to cook the rice, and with the help of that, uh, he cooked that rice. I hope you understand, my dear students. So That's enough for the day, right? And the rest part of this chapter will be taken next time. Thank you very much.